Hi. Cannot begin to express how tired I am right now. I did so much walking over the weekend, and I want to actually get another blog in either this evening or tomorrow. It'll probably go up tomorrow with the wife because she was there the whole time, but we are finally back from PAX South. Now, I apologize. I wanted to do more blogging, more vlogging, more pictures, more live stuff, but problem number one, there is no bandwidth at PAX. I barely got cell phone signal except for one or two specific corners in the actual convention hall, and that is not a problem with the convention hall. It is a problem with the local cell phone companies and capacity issues. This is a convention center, and they haven't beefed up their networks enough to handle 40 to 50,000 people at the convention center. So all the cell towers were completely capped out. If you had, like, let's say 4 out of 5 bars, you still actually weren't getting through, specifically because there were more people on the tower than the tower could actually handle. So it was a real problem. Anywhere that there was Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi was super slow and bogged out because everybody else was leeching off of it because that was the only Wi-Fi they could find. Even our hotel had Wi-Fi, and it was circumstantially useful. I tried uploading several things at several points, and it just kept failing out. So I've learned from PAX South this year. I have learned something very, very big. I have to plan differently. We're going to have to take my wife's portable computer, and we're going to have to take an external hard drive, and we're going to, next time around, next year, we are going back next year, just shoot and record everything, and then spool it all to hard drive, and just on the week when we get back, then we'll just basically release that information over several days. I think that's what we're really going to have to do because I don't see any other viable solution. Unless we manage to stay at a nicer hotel that's actually got working Wi-Fi, but even then, I think it's just going to be easier to do it all when we get home because PAX is so exhausting. On Saturday alone, we walked 8.8 miles. That is over 14 kilometers for all you European folks. Well, for everybody else in the world that doesn't use the dumb measurement system we do. So yes, the 14 kilometers or 8.8 miles in American. And that was exhausting. That was aggravating. However, I'd like to give a couple of shout outs. First of all, the convention itself was supremely, perfectly managed. The enforcers, the people that actually worked for PAX and had the job of, keeping the walkways clear, making sure that people were going to the right areas, those people did their jobs perfectly. They were nice, they were professional, and they did what they had to do. That was awesome. There were tons of people all over the place you could ask a question of if you got lost or didn't know where something was, and they would help you to the absolute limits of their abilities all the time. So that was great, and it really was a positive convention experience because of that. The facilities, the convention center itself, and what PAX paid for to get put in place were awesome. There were little convenience stores all over the place in the convention center, and yes, they did have convention prices, but that's just going to be a thing. $2 for a 20-ounce bottle of soda. That's just a thing. You have to get used to it. So that wasn't that bad. The food they actually had put up, there was a little stand way back at the back in the tabletop gaming section called PAX Pizza, and it was really good, and it was very affordable. And you got these puck-sized pizzas, about that big, and it was a personal deep dish thing, and it was actually very good food. It did not taste like junk convention food, which is a plus. Also, there were hot dogs and nachos and all sorts of stuff like that in the convention center, hamburgers, and the hamburgers and hot dogs and stuff apparently tasted pretty good also. So the convention food, I think, actually in the San Antonio Convention Center was a notch above. But yeah, a couple of shout outs real quick first before I forget. First of all, we wouldn't have been able to get through the front door if it wasn't for a nice gentleman named Kale Tan. Brian, he works for Curse. He's an IT manager for Curse. And Kale Tan got us tickets. That's Kaeltan. And he got us badges to get in. He got me a 3-day badge, even though we got there on Saturday. He had a spare 3-day badge. And he got a Saturday and Sunday badge for the missus. So we both got to get in the front door, and we wouldn't have had any fun without him. So thank you, Kale Tan. Also, Purple Mentat and Apollo Cat gave us a place to rest our head We stayed with them in their hotel room. They had a spare bed. So we bunked with them, and it was real nice. They were very, very professional. They were very sweet, and we bribed them with cookies. It was very cool. I got to meet Purple Mentat, Apollo Cat, got to meet Morvalara, Manmorv, Grim Z10. He's hilarious, absolutely funny. I loved messing with him, but he liked messing with me. So we were constantly kind of like baiting each other conversationally. It was funny. Oh gosh, I got to meet a gentleman with the name Mandibar. I got to meet Chaos Chunk. He was cool. I got to finally meet Slowpoke 101. He was real nice. I got to talk to him a little bit, and we kind of exchanged notes. I'm hoping I could hook up and do some more stuff with /4 Slowpoke and the FTB team later in the future. I got to meet Jaded Cat, but it was like that long, and then she went away. Seemed nice. Oh gosh, so many other people. Got to meet Lex Manos. He was actually very nice. He was cool. I like him. Oh gosh, who else? There's a lot of people there I wanted to meet, but I didn't get a chance to meet. Like Cleto was apparently there. I've never met Cleto. I've heard that she's adorable. Angry Joe was there somewhere. There was tons of Yogs casters that were there. Big chunk of Polaris. I saw Markiplier from like 40 yards away, if that counts for anything. No, it doesn't. But PAX was very cool. Let me switch over to something else here real quick. PAX was very cool. Based out of San Antonio, Texas, and we are definitely keeping it on our calendar for next year. We are going to go. So if you want to start planning a year ahead of time, hello, Kitty. Come here. Come here. I'm going to walk. Yes, hello. You're on camera. Say hello. Say hello. Hello. This is Malibu. Hi, Malibu. Run. If you want to plan for a year in advance, plan for PAX for next year, PAX South. We will be there. That is officially, it's a big convention. It's professionally run. They know what they're doing. The Penny Arcade Expo people are no slouches. So I know that PAX South is, I'm pretty sure I can say that it's going to stick around. They might move venues to something bigger in San Antonio later, if there is anything. But for the most part, I think that Penny Arcade Expo South, PAX South, I think it's going to be around for a while. So if you want to plan for a year in advance, try and plan for that, specifically because it has been a really good experience. I'll go into that in a minute. It's been a really good experience. The hotels in the area are not too expensive for a big convention. The pricing was pretty good for the pricing that we checked. There was, let me think. Oh gosh, there's something like just within about, I'd say 5 blocks, less than a half mile from the convention, okay? It's like maybe like 4 or 5 city blocks away in any given direction. There's got to be at least 16 hotels. Easily. Easily. Also, a great thing is that the convention center sits right on top. Let me see if I can get some maps. So, go away. The convention center's right here. And basically, this is a thing that's called the Riverwalk, okay? The Riverwalk actually goes under the convention center, right down the middle of it, and it goes off here and off in these different directions, okay? The Riverwalk is real cool. It's a San Antonio thing. How do I make this go away? Let's turn that off. There we go. So, the Riverwalk is very cool. And it's the convention center straddling it, basically, and it goes off. So you can actually use the Riverwalk to get through a chunk of downtown without ever actually walking up on the top street. So it's like malls, restaurants, scenery. It's really, really pretty. And because it's in January, it is the perfect weather, because in the summer, the Riverwalk turns into a concrete canyon of heat and death. So January, this is the perfect time. This is the absolute perfect time to be in San Antonio, because the weather was nice and cool. It was high 40s, low 50s most of the time, every once in a while dipping up into the 60s Fahrenheit. and it was great for walking weather. And yeah, just generally worked out very, very well. It means you're not getting overheated, because summer in Texas, if they would have done it in summer, there would have been a lot of problems. But basically, in San Antonio itself, the convention center straddles the Riverwalk, so there was actually tons of food accessible. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of restaurants in the area. A lot of them have good prices. Some of them have tourist prices. And a few of them are so overpriced it's not funny. But that's just the nature of tourism, and it's going to be the thing. But there's a lot of really good, affordable food. We walked into a Whataburger that was just a couple of blocks away with Purple Mentat and Apollo Cat on the first day we got there, Saturday. And had some food, a nice Whataburger. Had some, we had some fried chicken, and they had burgers. So, yeah, it was really good. We liked it. But PAX overall was a great experience. It really is fun. We definitely had... This is a shot, a kind of a higher-up shot of the expo floor. And that is legit what it looks like. It is madness. I think that's the expo floor. I think that's actually from one of the other PAXs. I don't think that's PAX South, because I don't think there was an actual WB Games or a Mortal Kombat thing. I'm not sure. Yeah, these are shots from one of the other PAXs. But basically, okay, they have a lounge area. It's really cool. There's a place called the AFK room. Take that AFK room, and it is a small, isolated room that is closed off from the convention noise. It is quiet. They have soothing music, places where you can lay down, stretch out, and calm down. It's a really cool idea, and I absolutely love it. They made sure that there was somebody selling water or Gatorade or soda almost every 100 feet. Basically like about 35 meters. It's not that, it was really good. So there was water everywhere, water fountains everywhere. There were tons of places for you to, like, this is actually this big lounge area they had up on the 3rd floor, way off at the back of the convention center, that was kind of out of the beaten path. You didn't kind of have to know where it was. However, once you found it, you could go back there, and they had these big sumo, like, pillow things that were really cool. That you could just kind of sit down on with some of your friends. There was a lot of people there that had Nintendo 3DSs that they were actually, like, swapping street coins or whatever they're called. I don't know. It was really cool. It was really neat. Lots of people playing stuff like on I think they had an ad hoc Wi-Fi or something there, so people could play little games right amongst themselves. But it was really, really neat. It was a really cool experience. They did a really good job of organizing the convention itself. I mean, they'll tell you, you know, hotel registration, book your hotel. There was tons of hotels in the area, and there was tons of stuff to do. I mean, between schedules and lots of different, like, panels and games and competitions you could go to, they had this really well-organized schedule, and it's not just color-coded. It also has letter abbreviations on it for everything. It's very good. So it's not just limitation of color. Another great thing that they also had, let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. The mobile app. They had this thing made by a company called Guidebook. It was the PAX South official app, and it worked great. You could schedule ahead of time what concerts and what events and put it into your personal schedule, and the app would actually remind you. It existed for Android and iOS. I don't know if it existed for Windows Phone. But it would remind you that you had some event coming up. And I think that's really, really cool. So you could go ahead of time and pick what concerts, what events. You could pick what booths that you wanted to find, and it would bring up a little map for helping you figure out where that booth was on the expo floor. We get to see a lot of cool stuff. Sentinels of the Multiverse got to mess with. We got to see that booth. There was a Social Justice Warrior by Nana Games, I think it was. And I can't remember. And oh gosh, all sorts of stuff. Dungeon Defenders 2. Got to see the Geek Chic furniture table. Chessex Dice. Played a couple of games of Munchkin with some friends of mine. Yeah, we got to play a game of Munchkin with Morvalara, Manmore, Grim Z10, and The wife sat in and watched. She helped me figure the cards out. But yeah, it was really cool. That was like the first game of Munchkin I'd played in several years, 3 or 4, something like that. So yes, definitely Munchkin. But overall, PAX was very impressive. Now, they started off small this year, so they could grow it. They are going to scale it up later. Every year they make it larger and larger and larger, and I think that's cool. But yeah, we are definitely going to be keeping PAX on our schedule, at least for the foreseeable future. If you ever want to do a meetup, if you ever want to actually find a PAX that is kind of, it's centrally located across the country, so it's not too far for the East Coast, it's not too far for the West Coast, it's not even too far for the northern states. It's kind of centrally located in the country. Lots of YouTubers were there. Angry Joe, I know Dodger was there. I think Strippin was there from Yogg's Cast. Markiplier was there. Oh gosh, Cleto. Tons of Twitch streamers, tons of YouTube personalities were there, and Purple Mentat got to meet one of his big fans. And that guy was super excited to be able to meet this YouTuber that he follows and absolutely adores. And that was a real cool experience for both of them. Purple Mentat he was almost floating after that experience happened. It was great. So yeah, next year we'll be a bit more prepared. This year we literally had 2 weeks notice. And it was a very last minute thing. But we pulled it off thanks to everybody else that helped us. Next year we're going to have to pull our own way though. And we're going to have to be a lot more better organized about it. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. More on PAX probably tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can pin down the wife and do a vlog and answer some questions and kind of, a joint thing. I got to rearrange some equipment though, so we can kind of do it over on the couch. But yeah, my knees are really angry at me, very angry. Just Saturday, like I said, we walked so much of a distance, but it was worth it. It was so worth it. So many people that I got to meet that I never would have been able to meet otherwise in person. Made some really good business connections, and a lot of networking got done, to use a kind of a businessy term. But it was great. It was great. I could spend some great time with some great people and had some great fun. So keep your eyes peeled on plans later in the year, much later in the year, probably October, for next year's PAX. We will definitely be going, and I would like to get everybody that is a, even remotely capable fan. Maybe you could start setting aside money for a trip, even if it's just a day trip to San Antonio, because you live in the area. Yeah, we're going to be at PAX South, so plan accordingly. I will see you guys later in the week. I have a lot of recording to do and a lot of stuff. So I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.